5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Run that back, turbo.
Hey, what?
Oh, yes, everybody. Welcome back to the Washington Wrestling Network podcast. He is Sam Otto. I am Matt Beck, and we are going to review the WIAA Matt Classic. I don't know exactly which number it is. I'm not very good at reading the Roman numerals, but Sam, how the heck are you doing today, brother?
It's 36. XXXVI 36. Okay. But yeah, I'm doing great, buddy. I mean, we made it through our first year of a high school season. So
By the seat of our pants.
Seriously, dude. We grinded this thing out. We knew it was going to be a grind. We knew that doing everything that we wanted to do was going to take a lot of work. But we appreciate everybody's support and just love this team, love what we're doing. And we've laid the groundwork for something really special for years to come. So I'm very happy. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Just want to shout out the sponsor, Westbrook. I hung out with actor Marks for a lot of the time. He was cruising around there, which I thought was really great. The movie it's pretty incredible what the heck we're trying to do here. The state's trying to do, actor Marks is trying to do with Westbrook, the movie. As you saw at the Dome, I mean, Adrian Windsor, we'll talk about him in a little bit here as just for everybody that's kind of tuning in here, the structure of this podcast is going to kind of go over a lot of the stuff, but just to let everybody know, I personally do the 3A ranks for the entire podcast, not the girls, just the boys side. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about for 3A. If you are in 3A and you thought you had a good tournament, I want to talk about it. I want people to talk about it because I think that the good stuff about what we're doing with this podcast, like I said, we do want to highlight wrestlers, but we want to do it in such a fashion that people really feel like we are paying attention to what they got going on. And I have a lot of news about the 3A tournament for boys that I thought was really great. Personally, thank you for that comment. What an amazing event. It was an amazing event. But my Ever High Seagulls got their second ever, I believe, women's state champion, Mia Cienega. She is fantastic. Her sister, which very unfortunately ended up in her side of the bracket because Vita would have probably been there in the state finals match with her sister, which would have been a really, really cool thing. And then also Emily, who is in our wrestling club, also won state from Jackson, which is great. So we ended up having two women state champions from our team at Everett High and then our club, which I thought was just great. And Mia wrestles with your brother and those guys at Ascend, so not in our club. But I just am really proud of them. I'm also proud of a couple more of our girls. Our boys did not have that great of a tournament. Our 120-pounder had defeated one of the top 8 guys earlier in the season. So that's about where we saw he was going to be. Got a concussion first freaking match. So it's like, oh, dang, had to sit him out of the tournament. We were hoping for some better things, but we really appreciate everybody's support. Cruising in through the Tacoma Dome, Sam, I don't know if you were expecting the kind of love that we got, but I just want to tell you, thank you. Like, I was in line trying to get food. Somebody just came right, grabbed me, turned me around. Thank you so much for what you do. I really love it. And I just want to say to every single person that came by. I mean, Connor Aney's dad packed and mom packed a snack bag for us.
Yeah.
That was so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Because I needed, there was a point where I went up to Connor Aney's dad. I'm like, hey, about that snack bag that you had, the beef jerky sticks on there. 1B, 2B boys. Are you ever going to do 1B, 2B boys? I think we do have the rankings out, right, Sam? Or what is Where are we at?
We're still working on final rankings based off the state tournament for 1B, 2B boys. So 2A and below for the boys, we're still working on right now, but 3A and 4A should be updated for final rankings.
T. Lundquist right here, our guy. Siblings in the same bracket. I know the feeling. Yes, absolutely. I'm here waiting for Wapato. I have updated the 3A final ranking. So, Sam, I think you did for 4A as well.
Correct.
I don't know. Did you go down to 16 as well, or just everything that you saw?
Yes.
So there should be 16 final ranks per weight class for 4A and 3A. We are getting a chance to get it through. Noah Butler won the 1B, 2B state title for ACH. Let's get a shout out. First sophomores to win one for that school. Congratulations, Noah Butler. That's really
that was a good match too.
Good job.
Yep.
Hey guys, I will jump back on after Lee versus Ono. Yes, we know there is something going on here. We really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We know, hey, we had the time right now to do it. I didn't want to wait too long to get through this podcast. We wanted people to get the type of recognition that they deserved. So go back. If you're watching it live, great. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. If not, go back. We can watch it later. Thank you guys. Was great meeting you both. Seriously, like the Lundquist family, it has been so good to us, like honestly, and we hope we can do more with that as well. Like I said, siblings in the same side of the bracket. If we could just figure that out, that we can do that. But sorry, Sam, I'm just kind of rambling on.
No, it's all right. I got the Lee versus Ono in the background on one of my monitors right here. So if you're maybe get a couple screens going at home, we can be a part of it as well with you guys. I know Seth Gross and Austin DeSanto are going to be wrestling next, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, stay with us here. We'd love to talk about the state tournament, and like I said, scheduling's hard. We got to get this done right after the state tournament. We got to pump this out and give you guys the review for the state tournament in the season right away. We didn't want to wait. So
Ryan passed me apparently in the hotel, didn't even say anything. I feel offended. Like, am I not approachable?
Yeah, I just want to say another thing about that too, man. I just want to echo what Matt's saying there. Man, we just had so many people come up to us and say unbelievably kind things, not just thank yous, but just like long testimonies of gratitude and thanks from people. And we get it's awesome to see that in person. We get a lot of stuff online, where it kind of feels negative sometimes, rankings and
I got one to talk about. I got one to talk about
that and blah blah blah. But like, man, it was just the pouring in of support and thank yous that we got.
Jacoby, hang tight. I'm going to talk about 3A 138 as we get through. I'm going to go through every weight class in 3A and talk about it a little bit. I don't know if we'll get to every name, but I just have some insights everywhere we go. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just like I always say, don't be a stranger. Come up to us and say hi, and we felt the love while we were there, and we just really thank you guys for that, because we do work very hard. Our team works very hard on everything that we've done up to this point, and I'm just very blessed and thankful to be doing this alongside you, Matt, with this podcast. How we started it, and our team, Josh St. Marie, our web developer. Trevor Mills, who's our jack of all trades behind the scenes, helping a lot with a bunch of media and stuff in the background at the state tournament, and Spencer Kabalak, who is our videographer, did an amazing job. You guys go check out those. I'm sure you guys have all seen the highlights and stuff that we got.
Talk about the highlights real quick. I mean, over 50,000 views on Instagram. We're over 30,000 on YouTube for one of our post finals match interviews. Some really incredible finals endings, which has been, really great. We just so happened to capture it. Spencer, what he's able to do for us, and what it's just incredible. I mean, what do you think about our videos?
Him out. He's linked on our website as well. So if you guys ever, I know he's very busy, and I don't know if you could take up more clients right now, but he does a fantastic job of what he does for his business. But he's generous enough to help us in what we do, and we consider him a part of this team. And man, when he shows up, it's just like you can kind of take a deep breath. It's like, dude, Spencer's just going to go rock this tournament, and he did it again. So
I just saw that Isaac Diniji just tuned in. That was an awesome finals match. When he had that reshot, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, man.
It was crazy. I thought he wrestled Trey really well. In exciting finals matches, absolutely. But first, Sam, we do want to get some stuff out of the way before we get to the wrestling. Let's talk about how the tournament ran. For me, I personally want to say I thought it was a success breaking it up the way that it did. I know that some people struggle with parking and having to get to that second, middle of the day is how 3A started on Friday, which is just really tough. But for us as coaches and also as for wrestlers, and then also knowing that last year the line was freaking incredibly long to try to get into the dome in the freezing cold. There was not I don't remember a time I had to wait to get into the dome.
During this year's Matt Classic.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a big change for the better. 100%.
Sam, did you interview Laz McEwen post match? I don't think we got that interview.
No, and let me touch on that really quick too. You guys, we have 4 matches going on at once, like every single finals match. So it's like you kind of have to pick one, right? Because like if we're going to interview somebody, we'd prefer to watch at least the end of their match, if not the entire match, so we can get some good questions for them. Not the basic, how do you feel about winning state? We want to talk about the wrestling, and it's really hard, and it's always been like that. I remember back in the day when Jedi Cheeto was taking photos. I mean, that guy was running all over the place. We were doing the same thing. It'd be cool if we just had one match after another and we can interview everybody, but that's just the way it goes. We tried to pick to get to the best interviews that we could. But yeah, it just, you're looking back on the tournament, it's like, dang, like I wish I would have got to that guy. I wish I would have got to that guy. You can only cover 25%, really, honestly.
And I'll tell you that Laz would have been quiet anyway.
Yeah, he's quiet.
The kid's quiet. He's pretty reserved.
Yeah.
We love Laz. And I'll get to like I said, we'll get to some 3A stuff. We also will tell you that we will get to the Bryson Dolly situation. We wish the best for Bryson Dolly. We will be touching on that in a little bit here. But Sam, what are your thoughts about the tournament?
Yeah. Yeah, like we already touched on, the good, man, getting in and out of security, I think was a plus. Like it was better. It's always going to be a line, right? But I think getting in and out of the dome this year was much smoother. Props to the WIA for correcting that from years past. For me personally, it's kind of, I would love to hear your guys' comments. Feel free to comment on this and give your guys' feedback and input. For me, it's different because, I didn't have any wrestlers wrestling at the Tacoma Dome this year. So I wasn't a coach. I was a media member. So it's like going in and out of the media door is like super easy, right? Like they treat you really well. And that's another thing that I can just commend the WIA for. All of us media members, people taking pictures and all that. We were really well taken care of. So that was another good positive thing. Expansion.
Rankings are updated, by the way, for 4A and 3A. We are continually getting to it. I'm super busy. I'm just now getting back to work, after 5 days. So, and I'm a sales manager. So basically just needing to dive right back in.
Yeah.
So it took me a little bit. I finished my 3A final ranks today, but we will be getting to the rest of it. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, that's from Robert Beckert. I believe his son's in 2A. We'll get there, Robert. Just give us some time and we'll get those final rankings posted out. But yeah, again, we talked about this on Wednesday before the tournament started when we were at the Dome doing our podcast about more competitors, right? Some of the watering down, it was a topic of discussion. But I think overall, that we look at this as a positive for the tournament, is getting more exposure, more athletes in there, more fans in there. I think it's great. So that was another good thing. Another one that I had was the march that they had for the finalists for each day on Friday and Saturday. The WIA did a fantastic job with like that ceremony. I know that we missed the tournament, the Parade of Champions, where we had every single placer run out there and everything. I know logistically that probably just doesn't jive with what they're trying to do nowadays, but having those wrestlers come out and the music and the announcer, I think they did a fantastic job with that. I got goosebumps when they were playing the music, and the march of finalists came out for each Friday and Saturday. That was really, really cool. And then the national anthems were awesome too. I think they had I want to say it was like a high school band, but they didn't sound like a high school band. They sounded like pros, man. They had a guitarist do the national anthem, and they crushed it. It was so good. And I just loved the ceremonial part of that. It added to the experience, and I really think that was a really cool part of it as well. And then like floor logistics and stuff like that, I think, it being a bigger tournament, I was expecting things to get like really rowdy and really crowded and stuff. And I know some people are get upset about the way that the WIA really regulates stuff with passes and stuff like that. I think, and again, this is coming from a media member, I had full access, but it didn't seem like it was crowded. It didn't seem like to me, viewership and the people who are in the stands, they needed to be able to see these matches. And it just didn't seem like it was as bad as in years past. We had a lot of good space for wrestlers to go hang out on the floor, and then just for the media members as well. Like, I think it was a really, really good experience overall, as far as like crowd management and all that stuff goes.
Here's the mouse edits guy. You guys talk about Noah Butler. I talked about him from before. Yes,
he's on our highlight. Yeah. Anyways, going to some of the bad. This one I'm having a hard time with. I'm like, is it bad? Is it not? Some of like the reffing with like unsportsmanlike stuff, like showboating and stuff. I can think of maybe like 5 or 6 matches where we're getting wrestlers who are dominating a match, and like I feel like they're going over the top. I think it's a product of like what we see in the UFC and the MMA, where that is
the wrestlers are over the top, or the
refs aren't controlling that as much as they should. And I think a line needs to be drawn a little bit, just for the respect of the sport. This is my take on it, and I don't think this is ever.
Yes, I absolutely disagree with this.
You do disagree. I knew you would.
Go ahead.
I don't know. There's some times where I'm watching a match and I'm like, dude, you're dominating the match, and maybe I'm just old school in this way. I just would prefer.
I think you are a little old school in that. Which is okay.
A respect for your opponent a little bit. And maybe by the book, they're not breaking the rules. I don't know if they are or not. Maybe this is a judgment call by refs, but there's the side of me, the slippery slope side of me, that's like, what's next? Like, you saw the clip of the West Virginia wrestler beating the Oklahoma State guy with the gun. Like,
yeah, that one was tough.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, can we go too far? I don't know. I think it's good in some senses for like the fans and stuff, and like, man, like if you want to be an antagonist, then go for it, but I just don't. I sometimes I just sympathize with the opposing wrestler a little bit. Like, man, you're maybe you have the respect for the other wrestler, but they're not giving it to you back. So I don't know. That was one thing that I was just like, maybe we could just like kind of intervene a little bit more. There was no intervening whatsoever. It wasn't like even like a warning or a side discussion with this stuff. And I'm just like, well, how far are we going to go with it? Do you want to have your take on that, Matt?
Okay, I don't know if Mia's joking here. More stall calls needed. Get out of here with that. Okay, I'm sick and tired of the refs on the stall calls, because
too many stall calls.
And no offense to some of these refs, here we go. Totally disagree on that statement, Sam.
I respect that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that statement real quick. These guys should be able to be themselves. I mean, if you want the state tournament I think wrestling is becoming more and more popular. The kids are getting into it. There's YouTube channels now. You're
going to change my opinion on this like within 30 seconds.
I just think, here's the thing. I understand the respect for the opponent. Like, I know that a lot of people is going to talk about Justice and stuff like this, but I don't think Justice doesn't have respect for Dom Tom. I don't think that's not the case. Stuff, so. But when the atmosphere gets to you and you're winning a state title and everything, as long as they don't throw fists, as long as, like you said, they don't, say suck it or, F you to the wrestler, let them be a little bit with themselves. I understand that there needs to be some respect for the opponent. I do think there's respect. So I don't think it's like, when you tease somebody, it's more about how they take it, less about I'm just teasing. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. Now, I'm not telling you you're an idiot, or you need to go, you're a dummy. Like, that's disrespectful, but it's a tease. That's how I look at it. It's a little bit of a tease. Not to mention, hey, look at the NFL. These guys, they celebrate in the end zone. So, like, where's the line supposed to be drawn? I say, hey, if you're disrespecting the guy supremely, like, F you, you suck, you're the worst, you couldn't carry my boots, whatever it is, that's disrespectful. Sure, I get that. But if you're celebrating, pointing to the crowd, doing whatever, your back's against the wall, you deserve it a little bit, and thing about wrestling, dude, it's so freaking hard. Like, what do you mean? Let these kids be themselves, man. If that's how they choose they want to be, great. And if they want to play the bad guy, and if everybody wants them to be the bad guy and they embrace it, it is what it is. I mean, and they're gonna remember it either way. I have people come up to me and they still talk about the Top-Inish Ording tool. Like, I had a coach come up to me and was like, "Oh my God, I didn't really know about you guys. The kids knew about you guys." They were like, we were at Pat Coast or wherever it was. He was like, "Hey coach, come look at this. Come look at this. These guys are fighting in here." And it's like, hey, I love it. I think it's great. I think if we weren't out here doing this, it just wouldn't be done. The publicity of it all, I think, needs to grow in its own organic way. And you start to create the superstars of it. And right now, in this era of Washington State wrestling with us and these freshmen and all these stellar athletes, we're in an era of some peak stuff for Washington State. Yeah. I'm all for it. Bring it on.
Yep. I think you changed my mind on it. I still think that, we might have to like find that line a little bit. Cause to me, there was no line. There wasn't any referee involvement with that whatsoever. And I know that the wrestlers are going to keep pushing that bound. But at the end of the day, I side with you on it. I think that that as long as the sport's going to continue to grow, we're going to have personalities come out. And gosh, man, I look back at my wrestling career. It's like, why didn't you show more emotion? And I'm just talking like celebrations. I wish that I would have poured my heart out and let that be a little bit more outward when I was wrestling as well. So I love to see that part of it as well. But I do think that we need to just be careful with it a little bit too as well. So.
Hey, I agree. Pretending to sleep mid-match. I'm not saying that some of the stuff wasn't disrespectful, but I'm just saying that, we could probably not make these kids come into this small ball so that when all of a sudden all this pressure does get to them, it shows in a way that becomes disrespectful. Allow these kids to open up a little bit more, embrace some of this stuff, because to me, if I was wrestling in today's day and age, and let's say, I took third at state, I'm a loser, right? You guys were state champions. I took third. I was a lonely guy down in the number 3 spot. And these kids were out here doing this, showboat, whatever. I'm like, dang it, I want to go and I want to beat them. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, get better. Beat them.
Get better. That's how I look at it. And I bet you the other wrestler on the other side isn't sitting there saying he's such a dick, or whatever it is. It's like, hey, I'm going to go get better. And if that's not your interpretation of it, then, I don't think your mind's in the right spot. Now, maybe the showboating, right? Good comment here by Josh. We love Josh. Celebrating versus showboating, not the same thing. I get it. I'm not saying that there wasn't some lines that were crossed. I'm just saying in general, I'm for it. I'm for the celebrations. I think the issue is that when we bottle up our celebrations all year long, you have it at the Dome in front of everybody, and that a lot of I don't know.
For some people too, that gets their motor going a little bit, right? And that's just part of their game. Like I wasn't like that, but I understand that there were some wrestlers that wanted that. Like you kind of embrace that that mantra a little bit. And you like it motivates you. It gets you going a little bit more, and I respect that for sure. But yeah, like there has to be a little bit of control with it. But yeah, I swing towards your side a little bit there, Matt. Like let the kids be the kids, but at the end of the day, we just don't want to go too far. But can I keep going down here on some of the bad stuff?
Yeah, let's keep going. Chris Feist, I like this because Coach Feist, it does come down to coaching. I don't think it comes down to the kid. Coach Feist, he's great. He preaches a real good way to kind of, bring you back to life, bring you back down to center, and that's great. And Coach Feist is dominant. Their team, 4A state champions without Bryson Dolly. Incredible run by Tahoma this year. Mm-hmm. Incredible team, Tahoma this year. Ording, incredible team this year. I'm with you. Act like you've been there before. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying no. Celebrations, I want more celebrations. I think that allowing the celebrations a little more often will deplete the disrespectfulness, because you're not bottling it up until the very end, and then all of a sudden it's like we're lashing out, so that's how I feel. Your team will continue to do what you allow, and I agree. As a coach, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
Team scores not being displayed. That's just something, again, old school thing, man. We talked about this with Kesterson on the podcast back in November about, I know that they're trying to get to this point. They weren't able to make it happen this year. I think it's a big miss. We've got to have those team scores displayed. You look at the B championship, it came down to the last wrestler from Tenasket to get a last second win to win them their state title as a team. And I didn't know about that until Martin Mitchell, the head coach of Okanagan, came up to me and says, "Hey, you better watch this match." And he told me the whole story. I think giving people the education while the tournament is going, not just on your phone, because not everybody knows how to like navigate track. Like sometimes it's tricky, and like, and then you got to go on your phone like every now and then. It's like, is the service good or whatnot? Like we need to have those team scores up, man. Like it's got to be, and it doesn't have to change every single match, but like maybe in between sessions, we can just like, the whole dome needs to be able to see where these team scores are at, because those team titles are a big deal, man. And especially for coaches, right? Like what
are you kidding me? It's a big deal for everybody. I mean, dude, you win the freaking team title at state. That's incredible. That's an incredible feat.
That's a squad, and I wish the fans could get more education with that as the tournament is going. And I'm hoping, because Kesterson brought it up, we didn't bring it up with his with him on our podcast. He brought it up. So I think that they'll be working towards that, but I'd like to get in his ear again to try and push for that for next year. And I don't know what it looks like. Maybe they just bring back the old boards or whatever.
So this is what Kesterson said. It's not like they don't want to, but he's like, some lumber place needs to, they need sponsorships. Right here, they said D Torres, she's great. Like oh my gosh, she did so much work. The media is so underappreciated. I mean, the freaking work that they are doing. She's got this little chair, and I'm sitting there with my knees. My knees are on the thing. My knees are breaking in half, and she's just looking at me, laughing at me, like, "Yeah, you must be a rookie at this, huh?" Basically, It's like I am totally a rookie. She got a nice chair over there, but man, the pictures, the amount of just great work. She does. Lots of people. Lundquist's dad, he came up, said hi to us, and I'm just like, man, Big Al Sal just crushing it. And even when Ording's not there, and lots of people that I don't know that are just crushing it on the media side. Now that I got a chance to get that taste, I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, we were doing an interview with, I can't remember who it was, but it was funny because it was like the first interview that I did during finals, where there was another like reporter or something like holding up a mic while I was doing the interview, and he was super nice. He wasn't trying to get in the camera shot or anything like that. He was just holding up another mic. I was like, what if we get like 15 of these in here? You know what I'm saying? It's like, maybe we got to get through some like, logistics with that to figure out how we do it once this thing grows a little bit. But I love that, because the more coverage that the sport gets, the better.
Yep. And what we're doing to facilitate that, and what we have in our plans, and who we've been talking to, like, man, it's only the beginning for what we have planned and what we have going on. And I just really, it's awesome to see, because it's necessary. I mean, like I said, right now we're in a golden age of Washington State wrestling. I really believe that. And yeah, so let's continue on.
It was with Nampuya. Yeah, Trev's right. He's our cameraman for those interviews. Yeah, good job there, Trev. Yeah, Daryl Nampuya. That was a fun interview too.
I love Daryl Nampuya. He's a good kid. Wrestles at Fargo and stuff like that. We follow him all off season. It's great.
Yeah. Another thing that was a little bit of a negative for me was just like the finals and the medal round logistics. I don't think you can really fix this too much. But like, we got to cut down maybe some of what the announcers like giving the kids on their show sheets. Like Faith Tarrant, for example, like she already had pinned her gal before they even got to her, and you got to introduce her name. And I just miss Ed Alverdi, dude. Like I don't know. It's part of me, just the old school stuff. Like I wish I don't know. I don't think that there's anything that we can really do to make this better.
We can't do it. They tried to do it by splitting it up. I mean, imagine if they had everybody going and they still can't get to it.
Well, I've heard that there's some discussion about doing like medal rounds. So 7th place match, 5th place match, and 3rd place match at the same time in finals next year. And I'm not for that whatsoever.
I would hate that too.
It'd be horrible.
But it also is the reason what got us about an hour behind is
we were 4 hours behind on Friday.
Oh, okay.
So they had projected finals were going to be, oh no, maybe not.
I thought it was 7, and then we didn't start till like 8.
Correct.
7:30, and we didn't.
But that's still too late to start. So this is bringing me to my next one, the ugly. I think we cannot be going that late. It's just, and I know the WIA knows this. Like we cannot be. We left there at 11:30 on Friday night. After Connor probably started wrestling at 11 or maybe 10:45.
Here's Mia. She's on. You know, and for the heavier weight, you know, Connor, Annie, Mia. You know, we always kind of know they get the stiff at tournaments. They got to wait for everybody. They got to sit the very end. Mia came out there done before.
That's another thing too. Like why I hate that the heavy, like the dome's starting to file out and get empty when the heavyweights get going, and that to me is another thing that we could do is like, let's do a random draw of finals matches, something like that. Or we go reverse order, or we go from the middle out, something like that. But the heavyweights get shysted every single year. And I don't like that either.
I love that the wrestlers are in the comments right here. Like, yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah. Mead still got our locker room. I got that comment coming up here.
Did they? I didn't see it. Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Last one is just officiating. We talked about this, and I'm sure Andy's going to have some really, really fun, cool podcasts coming up, kind of dissecting some close calls and some missed calls and some good calls and all that stuff that we saw from the state tournament. We'll let Andy cover the officiating at the state tournament. I know he's going to do a fantastic job with that. But man, I saw some really bad stuff.
Not only was there really bad stuff, there was some extremely bad stuff where kids were directly responsible, or referees were directly responsible for kids not continuing on in the tournament because of bad reffing. Let me tell you a quick one that we're going to go over in the real ref report. There was a kid in the 4A. Okay. There was a Merkel call that was not called. Okay.
So he put a kid in the Merkel and
the kid got the Merkel. So we're like, okay, takedown. The ref did not call a takedown in the Merkel. The other wrestler reversed the Merkel, got near fall after the Merkel. The ref got the match stopped because they wanted to review the Merkel. Okay, Merkel got called for a takedown. They did not give any points after the Merkel takedown. They ran the match back to the Merkel, nullified the reversal and the near fall that happened after it.
Yeah.
And that is not the rule, not supposed to be the rule. And there's a literal exchange of 7 points post Merkel. Yeah. And the kid lost the match. Yeah, how incredible is this?
Yeah,
we cannot be having this.
One of dozens of examples, and Andy's going to be a busy guy over there on the Real Ref Report dissecting some of this stuff. And you know, I know the refs work hard, man, and they do the best job that they can. I don't think that they're like trying to sway a match in one way or the other, but it's just we got to get better. There's got to be better refereeing, and I saw some really bad stuff, man, and this is our job. It's Andy's job. We're going to get better. Things are going to get better. We know that. We believe in that. But yeah, just, you know, they got to get rid of that rule too. I don't know. I'll let Andy talk about that a little bit more about, you know, some of the
2-year rule, the
2-year rule
and WIA.
Man, we need the best refs at the state tournament. Hands down.
Oh yeah, we got another Sela girls wrestling's got a comment here that should be up soon. A lot of out of bounds calls that shouldn't have. Absolutely, that's another one. I'm sitting there, I'm literally coaching in the corner, and they're like out of bounds. I'm like, dude, his whole body's in. What are you doing? It's like I just want to get it back to the center. Not the rule. Not the rule. I'm done with that. Sorry about that.
Stalling was probably my worst one.
Look at Coach Weiss. Look at him. He's so good. He's so good at this. Say the same thing about some of the wrestling and coaching. He's right.
There was a match.
Coach Weiss, bringing me back down to earth. What a guy. He's good at this. He's really good.
He is good at that too, because there was a match that I was watching where Zahoma was getting robbed. Coach, I was watching Coach, man, because we know him, and
he's chill guy.
Chilled, man. He knew what he had to do, not get super upset. and be respectful. And that's what we have to do. We have to be respectful to these people, because it's nothing about, throwing our arms up, getting upset, throwing F bombs and all that stuff isn't going to help. We just got to get better as a community, as a referees.
Let's talk about community
organization,
right
all
here with
that.
Mylente's a comment. Can we applaud lady refs?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Some of the best refs in the state are female refs. Absolutely.
And actually, I could tell you what, I got a couple names on my list for numbers. None of them were females. They did a great job.
Our children are watching. Yeah, you're right. Coach Vice, stand-up guy. Does a good job.
He's so great. All right, so let's talk about some of this. Like I said, if you are in the 3A bracket, I'm going to talk about you guys here. So stay tight. Lack of stall calls, it's frustrating. Sure, the judgment call. There's lots of stuff about reffing. The Real Ref Report podcast will go about that. We need you guys there so that we can talk about that further. But White River holds off Hermiston. Both have deep roster, Sam. In the 3A, almost every freaking weight class, you have one or two Hermiston kids, at least one White River kid. It's kind of crazy when you do ranks, because this is something I've learned about rankings this year, Sam, that I'm going to take forward to next year, is sometimes district champs it's like sometimes you want to bump them. You're like, okay, you're a district champion, from a district 4, district 2, wherever it is, district 6, whatever it ends up maybe. But just like in our seeding, sometimes district champs don't deserve it. So you end up bumping them up a couple notches because they were district champs. Not saying that it's not tough to be a district champ, but when you're going through rankings, it's like, dang, you see a White River kid, he's 6th or 7th on the list. You kind of put the district champ over it, and he wasn't, maybe, or that match was tight. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the day, the Hermiston kids, the White River kids, they end up in the placing matches. Incredible teams on both sides. They are so stacked. What are we doing allowing this Oregon team in the Washington thing?
Dude, can we talk about this really quick? So they've gotten second in state, I think, either 3 or 4 years in a row now. And I don't know how, because I love the Hermiston kids. I think we had
no, they're fantastic
engagement with Jason Rodriguez on Instagram. Nice kid. Aiden Larson's awesome as well.
Aiden Larson's been a big help for us.
Nice kids and everything. And we love good wrestling. We love good wrestlers and all that. Me personally, I don't want them to win a state title because this is our state. When we go up in duels and stuff, they're Team Oregon, and those are our rivals, man. And I hope that they would embrace that. I'm sure that they want to come into this Tacoma Dome every single year and be like, yeah, dude, Oregon won your state tournament. But at the end of the day, I'm biased. I'm a Washington guy through and through, man. I was sweating bullets there at the end. I was glad that White River pulled it off.
Okay, well, Sam, I am not biased at all. The kids that do the work, put in the work, deserve it. I don't care if it's from Hermiston, Idaho. If we let them in, I don't care how it goes. I mean,
then they should be able to get on our dual team then too. Like if we're gonna do
that is an argument that we should be able to make. I agree there, because
can we just have them fully then? Because to me it's like once we exit the season, I'm like, you're not Team Washington anymore. So
you're our enemies.
Yeah.
We'll get to more of the Hermiston talk as we get on. Kalama Wrestling here with a comment. How do you guys feel about eventually introducing video replay in the postseason? I know logistically it might be challenging.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're not for video review, leave the podcast. You could go watch something else. You can go to somewhere else for rankings, because we need video review. We want the kids to have the right calls. It doesn't matter to us or to me. Maybe I'm speaking solo here, but I want the right call every single time.
It's got to be fast though.
Which is fine. It is fast. Here's the video. Make a call. And if you can't, then we can get something in. But maybe like the NFL, you get 2 per tournament. Okay. Or
I'm cool with that. Yeah. Maybe a brick. The thing is when a coach goes to the head table to argue a call, how many times do they win that call?
I don't know. It didn't feel like a lot. It didn't feel like
it's always been like that. You're not going to reverse a call. because one, there's not video review. That's like the biggest thing behind that. But also like some of these calls are a judgment call and things happen fast. It's like the ref is like, if they don't have a backup that they're not talking to, you know, they're not going to reverse it. And they're also talking to, sometimes if it's a close call at the end, rarely says Coach Weiss, you're not going to win you're not going to overturn a call. The only way you can overturn a call is with video review, to me, like truly.
Or a second
and
ref.
you can get it right, or a second ref.
A second ref where you can have somebody, and you can't question judgment. So,
Right.
and judgment, it's like, okay, we had one in one of our kids' matches. I forget, it was the return. Gosh, I forget some of these names, but you're not supposed to leave the ground when you're returning in this specific move. The other coach had the rule book. Everything was great. I'm pretty sure our kid left the ground anyway. I was sitting there letting it happen. But the reality was, when the commission came over, they said, well, what did you see? And he goes, I didn't see it. Okay, well, how can you call against this? Like, you can't.
You can't.
And there it was, coach
Right.
misconduct. And it's like, hey, misapplication of rule. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be something I'd be for, as long as it's timely and effective. I know that once we get into freestyle and Greco, when we get to Northwest Regionals, which we're about to hit here in a couple of months, it's like, dude, and that tournament's about to be even bigger than it was last year. And you got coaches throwing bricks every like 2 seconds. Like, guys, like, keep the brick by your side a little bit here. Like, I don't like. There's a little bit of a slippery slope there too.
If I had two bricks, it'd be strictly for semifinals, quarter semi.
Or you get penalized if you don't get it right. You know, I think that's another thing that we could probably figure out too. It's just like, hey, like you can't be challenging everything. I know that there's some coaches that just like to go to that head table all the time. It's like, well, we need to like kind of regulate this a little bit. But I do think that we need to be able to review in some form or fashion, and it's got to be efficient in some way as well. So
dang. Jacoby's like, don't worry, Sam, the WIAA committee doesn't want us to win either. See, you started something, Sam. You are such a be mad at him, okay?
That's
be mad
all
at
right.
him.
I'll take
I don't
the
feel
heat.
that way. I don't feel that way.
Hey, but again, like I love the Hermanson boys, man. Again, like we've exchanged some messages and stuff, and I'm ashamed that we didn't get to interview Jason after his big win against Bub Cater. We were running around trying to get interviews as we went.
No, it's really because he hates you guys. On to the next. Just joking.
No,
I know it's just going to be a long pod. I don't want it to be too incredibly long, but guys, strap in, because I guess this is it. This is going to be long. So let's talk about Ording, Sam.
So I had some questions like earlier in the season. My brother, for example, was like, how do you have Ording over Toppenish in the state rankings? Like they we're super close in the duel. It's got to be really close. Are they flip-flopping or whatever? This is a testament to what we do behind the scenes. Our formula, I think, shook out pretty well as far as our team rankings went, especially at 3A and 4A. And 2A as well. Our Calcs had Ording winning by 100 points early in the season, and then we discovered some Toppenish wrestlers who kind of came out of the woodwork. I don't know if Sunner and those guys were hiding some people or whatever, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, like they might make a push. And then I did Calcs again, and I was like, man, like it's still not that close, and it proved to be that it wasn't close. Run that duel back, might be different. A dual team tournament would be great. We could see who the best, top wrestlers are on a dual team. But yeah, the Ording is one of the deepest, greatest teams I've ever seen.
They have threes that were not in the tournament that win state tournaments. I really feel that way about.
And I want to give the 2020, 2021, 2022 Toppenish team their flowers, because we weren't doing this podcast back then. I know that they had some fantastic squads. And they had broken scoring records. I think they still hold the scoring record in 1A as well. But yeah, this year, Ording best team in the state, hands down, not even close. The depth is insane. And you got 2 4-time state champions on one team in 1 year. The dominance was really cool to see. Wish it was closer, man. It would have been fun to kind of see that come down to some of those final matches, because if you go through 106 all the way up to 150, it was Ording Toppenish. But at the end of the tournament, it didn't really matter. I think even if Ording lost all those matches, they wouldn't they wouldn't have it wouldn't have been a problem for them just because of the depth. And so hats off to Ording, nice job. And then but like Toppenish is going to reload. We know who they are. That Yakima Valley is going to keep pumping them out. And to be honest, this is going to be fun, man, because it's going to be a rivalry for a long time, right? We did that live stream of them and the duel. I hope we'll get to do another one next year. And Ording's got to reload. They will. Toppenish has got to reload. They will. And
Ording's ready. They got guys sitting behind.
And then Toppenish is going to have 2 guys going for 4-timers next year, Justice and Steve Romero. So they could be the second to have 2 4-time state champs in 1 year if it all plays out.
So let's run it again. Let's run it again. Yeah. We'll be there. That's going to be a great time. We're really excited to do that for everybody, and we are preparing for a huge year next year as far as the availability of our live streams. What's crazy about our live stream? The Viking Invite live stream is I think is our worst live streamed finals. Please, everybody, go and view that thing. There's some incredible matches there, and the quality of our second cam on that thing is incredible. I mean, that Bryson Dolly match against Hoyt Harshman's awesome. Yeah. And I still watch it. Because I'm a nut for watching great wrestling, and there was. Let's talk about Neri Rivas. I want to talk about Neri real quick. Yeah. The other rankings outlet are not as good as us. I mean, no offense to anybody else, but we had him number 1 from the very beginning. I mean, basically. And the kid said in an interview, and I won't name names, but he said in an interview before the state tournament about how somebody else was talking about it. And he goes, I'm going to tech that kid. Came out, tech the kid. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Neri Rivas is awesome. He's a good kid. I really enjoyed, watching him and interviewing him. And I just think he did a great job. Trevor Anderson did absolutely what he was supposed to do as well. Fun time with those Ording kids. Let's talk about Nava.
Dude, Matt, you weren't there, unfortunately.
I wasn't there. I didn't see it live.
But Trev and I and Spencer, our team, we had 3 of us. That was the last match of the tournament. And boy, did it not. It was amazing. It didn't disappoint whatsoever. Perez, they went 1-on-1 against each other this year, I believe. Maybe 2-1. I'm not sure. But Perez got the last win against him at districts. And we knew it was going to be fireworks. And then Nava gets a takedown at the buzzer, which you can see the angle of that referee. By the way, that referee is a fantastic referee. I've been watching him all year. Great referee. Gets the call right at the end. And
you can see it too. The call is made before the towel tap. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. There's nothing to argue about when it comes to that. And the sequence, dude, by a freaking heavyweight. Are you kidding me? That video we have, the sequence, unreal for a heavyweight. It's amazing. Awesome to see. Nava's in the chat. Look at him.
I was just here. There he is. I was just happy to meet Tony and Cheeseburger himself, and get an interview with him as he got to experience that, because it was probably, I'm guessing, one of his favorite matches of his career, if not is his most favorite, just based on the what was at stake for him to get a 3-time state title. And then getting it at the buzzer too, which was super cool. So
I'm going to talk about Bryson Dolly here in a minute. But Sam, I wanted to actually talk about something. Sure. I think Nava got a lot of hate from our stream, because when you talk about somewhat of the little disrespect, right? It wasn't really him, but he was ponying on it, and he felt he was disrespected in the pound for pound. He took the L in districts. And what I just really want to say about it, because I think that this needs to be said, is if you go and watch the interview you had, he was humble. He told you that he had
like low confidence going in.
Yes. Yeah. And dude, post match, if somebody's being like, F that, I was going to win. It's like, dude, I love that he was humble in telling you honestly that he was freaking nervous about it.
Yeah.
And then he pulls that off in the end. He's humble in victory. The interview was awesome. I thought that was incredible. Like I said,
all those kids are like that too. If you really get to know them,
Go watch our Justice podcast. Like, if you think anything about him, you're crazy. Like, Justice is a great kid. You know what I mean? Good kid, good, humble kid. I just think, again, some of that pressure sometimes when it's bottled up, it's tough, and these guys are kids. Talking about kids, let's get into Bryson Dolly. Do you want to talk about something first?
No, I mean,
I got something to say about it. I talked to a lot of people about it. I talked to people very, 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 very close to Bryson Dolly, and I'll give a little bit of a scoop. Bryson's a kid, man. And that's the thing. We all have to kind of remember that these kids are kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember, dude, I thought the whole world was against me when I was in high school. I was raised poor. I never had like that solid of a family. My mother was never around. I was raised by my grandma, my dad, stoner father, kid, never taught me how to do anything good, so it's like, I'm not saying that's Bryson's situation, but every kid is going through something in high school. And when you're in high school, man, you think it's the end of your world. You think that you're never going to, this is it. You don't know what's after this. And it's everything to you. And imagine if you had been wrestling every day pretty much since you're a kid, it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot.
I don't have to imagine I did that.
Exactly. You did it. And I think that everybody goes through these things. Every kid, every wrestler. You can't tell me if you're not a wrestler, there's a point you didn't want to quit. It's like, even if you're the best and you love wrestling, like you wanted to quit one time in your, and I think that Bryson is a good kid. He made a decision. He's a growing man. 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, in just a couple of years, you're an adult. I mean, you can go fight it in a war in just a couple of years. I mean, what these kids are going through, nobody understands. Bryson made a decision. That's what it was. It's unfortunate for us, fans of Bryson. It's unfortunate for the people that get to watch wrestling. But you know what? Bryson made the decision. It's not like it was a forced decision. He's going through something right now, decides he wants to hang it up right now. Didn't want to make it. And great. I mean, the kid, Bryson, fine. Like, great, man. If that's what you want to do, I'll give you a hug. I know that he'll find his way back to it. It's not like he doesn't love it in his heart. He does. Been wrestling his whole life. But the things that I've seen, thank you for the comment. Love the podcast. Things that I've seen, comments about him. I think you guys are crazy for commenting anything negative about why Bryson Dolly didn't come to the state tournament. He was going to win state, right? I mean, like, that's the idea. The kids, who has he lost to this year, right? Like, nobody. It's not about that. Bryson, the kid, wants to be doing what he wants to do, made a decision, and all you got to do is love him, man. Just give him a hug. Tell him everything's going to be okay. If he wants to find his way back to wrestling at some point, which I do believe is going to happen, great. The team over there, Coach Weiss, like, he's got him. He's coached well. He's got everything that he needs. Just give him a little bit of time, man. That's all he needs. That's all he wants. He told you he wants it, and he took it. So he's great. Great kid. Good freaking kid, man. And if I saw him right now, I'd give him a big hug, man. Tell him everything's okay, because everything is okay. It's not the end of the world. It's really not.
Right.
3-timer, 2-timer. I mean, we know the caliber of athlete that he is. 1-timer, if he decides not to make it back to senior year, who knows? I mean, whatever he wants to do. He's Bryson freaking Dolly. He's one of the best kids in the state of Washington. Has been for a long time. Hope he makes it back, but I love him. He's a good kid.
Yeah, wrestling is a huge part of his life. It's a huge part of our lives. But yeah, like, it isn't everything. We understand that. Matt and I went through it. We went through, wanting to quit sometimes, or whatever. It's just, at the end of the day, we're a community, and we rally around people who are going through a hard time or whatever. Either if it's making weight or if it's just the grind of it. Like, we love Bryson. I know he'll be back. I mean, it's like, he's such a talented wrestler, and I really hope that he comes back for duels, because we need him. But if he needs to take more time, like, take the time, dude. Like, it ain't the end of the world. I think the bigger story was like, how's Tahoma going to get it done? You know, it's like, it's not about Bryson. It's just like, hey, like now we got this exciting, like, points thing on our hand with the team scores and all that. And Tahoma still got it done, which is really cool. I'm glad that they did. And we got to interview Coach Feist and Coach McLean on this podcast, which is cool. And, came down to not too many points, but Tahoma pulled it out, and that's going to be a good rivalry here to come. But yeah, wish Bryson all the best. And, we love him. He's a fantastic kid. We had some great interviews with him. Super respectful kid, and he's part of our community. Yeah, and we love him. And we have wished nothing but the best for him and his future. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're running short on time. We have about 15, 20 minutes. I have a lot that I want to go through. So, Sam, I'm going to hit you with a couple things. I apologize to the kids. They deserve a little more. We just don't have as much time, but we're going to continue to talk about this. Stay with us. We got a lot of stuff going down. Boomtown up at 2 a.m. crunching numbers. Yeah, Boomer's great. He's really been helpful.
Shit, how are we going to get this done?
Okay, Hazel Soto with the buzzer beater. It's honestly no surprise to me. He was up in the district finals match. There was a reversal and some near fall twice to lose the match. I thought that what my coach here told me is that it looked like Flores started to go the coasting route. Oh, look at this too. Boomer with the comment, 2:45 a.m. That's hilarious. It looked like Flores started his coast and relax point a little too early. Hazel Soto got him at the end there. Great match. Great. Both wrestlers are really good. Anything to say about that?
I think it's just wrestling IQ, man. And no disrespect to Drew Flores. We had him in our pound for pound, and just great interview, great kid. And we knew that was going to be a really close match. But I think between Nava and Soto, I think what they both did to set themselves apart from their opponent was to go for it at the end. And a lot of times wrestlers in those close matches be like, okay, I'll just get it in overtime. And I'm not saying that was Drew or Mason Perez's mentality. It was just like, okay, like they might have thought that maybe that was like a mutual agreement between wrestlers, but it was like between Soto and Nava, they both decided is like, hey, like I saw an opportunity and I struck and I got it. And he did. And man, that was top 3 finals matches of the tournament. And we knew it was going to be good, and he got it done. And
and he was in if he didn't finish that double, that would have been more crazy because he was in so much. The guy was, Drew Flores was hanging over him like, he got him. And it was impossible to defend at that point. He was so got. And I was like, oh, dang, he's in so deep. If he didn't finish it, I would have been surprised. Last second buzzer beater. Great competition. It happens. They went back and forth with each other. Congrats to both athletes.
For sure.
It happened the way it happened. Izzy Acosta, we knew it. I mean, there was no surprise with us at all.
We got the rankings right. I mean, we knew that weight class was going to be very contentious given the amount of talent in that weight class and the depth of it. But Izzy Acosta ran through that weight class. And to me, probably in my perspective, gets O-Dub of the tournament, going into what looked like the deepest, toughest weight class and classification of the tournament, and just completely dominated it from start to finish. Man, he's good. I got
15 points put up on Dayton Fitzgibbon in the semis. 10-1 on Noah Koyama.
Yep,
is great.
It's crazy, man. And I don't think he even thinks that's crazy, man. The way that he was carrying himself and his confidence just looked through the roof. It's a testament to Coach Owen over there at Gonzaga Prep and Inland Northwest. And we love to see those Spokane boys shine. And Izzy, got to give you your flowers, brother. Man, it was fun to watch you, and just really just a spectacle of a performer, man. It was fantastic. I anticipated him to win the tournament. Like I said, we had him ranked number 1. I expected him to win the tournament. I didn't expect him to blow through the competition like he did, and he did.
Yeah, it's really great to see. You know what else too? And this is something I love because we're all down there with the wrestlers. They're all chopping it up with us. No one knew Izzy Acosta. Like, not that no one did. a lot of the wrestlers, they know Noah. Izzy Acosta is a relatively small name, but with us, he ain't. We knew it. We saw what the potential could be. But I think when it happened, a lot of wrestlers down there, like, oh God, Noah 10-1. Like, that's a pretty big win against a really good guy. So great work, Izzy Acosta. Villanueva, Colby Ducat, your guy. Colby Ducat's your guy.
Yep.
I was it's not that I wasn't a Ducat guy. I like Ducat. I just looked at Chris Villanueva like he had been dominating all year. Beat
Undefeated.
Nano Zuniga, a pretty hefty victory there in the finals of the Rumble in the Valley. I think that's what the tournament is. So, but the difference of somebody like Colby Ducat, perfect. Colby Ducat wrestled a perfect match. And you know what? That's how you beat Bo Bassett too. And that's the crazy part. It's pretty easy. How you beat Bo Bassett? You gotta wrestle well. You gotta stunt everything that they got going on. You gotta be able to catch it whenever you get an opportunity, and you have to have the motor. And I think Colby Ducat is an athlete, man. He is. He's a specimen. He really is. Villanueva, the way he wrestles is very in your face, very active, very everything, which is great. I love it. I appreciate the confidence in the wrestler, but when you get a guy like Colby Ducat who is absolutely locked in, something like that could happen. You keep the match to your type of match and you win it ugly in the end. And I think Colby really got it and went for it. And I really have my hats off to him. You were talking about Colby Ducat as super early. Not that we didn't love. It's not that I didn't love him, but you loved him from the very beginning. That was your guy in the weight class. So I got to give it to you.
Yeah, well, I didn't have him ranked because I do the 4A. I didn't have him ranked number 1. I had Villanueva number 1, being undefeated. And in fact, I watched Villanueva beat him at gut check. And so I was expecting Villanueva to win. I knew it was going to be close, and it was close. But gosh, it's hard to make an argument for both of those wrestlers, even though one gets second in state, not to be in the pound for pound discussion, which we're going to be releasing here in a few days. But yeah, like my heart goes out to Chris. Fantastic kid. Really, really fun talking to him at gut check. You can just tell he's really humble, really nice kid, and goes undefeated and loses his last match of his senior year. And I saw him really pouring his heart out to some of his family and his teammates and stuff. But like, dude, it's wrestling, bro. Like it ain't, stuff happens, man. Like anything can happen. And especially a wrestler like Colby Ducat, who we really highly regard in what we do and what we watch and what we see. And yeah, he got the best of him. And again, we knew that was going to be a very high level, high wrestling match at 150 pounds. And one of them had to win, and Colby got it. And congrats to him. Hope to see those guys continue on their career because they're both so good, man. Like, let's get on some dual teams. Same with Izzy. Like, let's get all these kids on our dual teams. Let's go beat Pennsylvania already.
I love it. Okay, we got Tenasket squeaks out a win versus Okanagan on the last match. We had already mentioned that. Connor Aney retires from wrestling. We knew that too. My boy was going to go play some football. And he cuts to make heavyweight. So a lot of the girls are 2-time state champs. The girls, we got a lot more to talk about that. We're trying to build more up on the women's side to help give the pub to the girls that need it. And we're doing our best, and super sorry about not being able to cover everything all at once. Just 4 of us here. We're trying to build our network, and we talked to a lot of people at the tournament about how they want to help, and we're getting there. I promise you we're going to get there because we care about it. And then is it Tyron? Tyron, 4 seed. You even pointed this out that he had a dark horse shot at winning the tournament. Kid's an animal,
dude. I gotta give myself a pat on the back for this one because I watched him at gut check again, interviewed him. Fantastic kid, fantastic wrestler. He goes in the state tournament as a number 4 seed because he got 8th at state last year because he had a medical forfeit out to get to the 8th spot. So he was on the podium, but didn't really reflect how good of a wrestler he was. So his seating was down a little bit, and I go, dude, you guys got to watch out for this kid. And I said it on the Wednesday before the tournament started. It's my dark horse at 4-8. and he goes and beats Colin Edmonds in the finals, who we love, who also came on our podcast on the Wednesday before the tournament. But yeah, man, didn't count him out, and I was happy to see him win just because I picked him for one, but also just a fantastic kid and a great wrestler, and I hope to see him continue to wrestle because he got the job done for Rogers, which isn't at its peak right now. And Rogers was good back in our day, Matt, but they're rebuilding a little bit. But he adds another state title to the Rogers Rams wrestling room, and just a great kid, and he got it done. So
I don't know which Jesse they're referring to. Do you know on this comment here?
I don't, not off the top of my head.
Okay, can you make yeah, not
Jesse Maines. He's talking about Jesse Maines, yeah, against Connor. Yeah.
Can you talk about that? I was not there.
Sure. So went into double overtime. Backstory is Jesse Maines beat Connor and he at gut check. So we had Jesse ranked above Connor pretty much the rest of the season after that match. And then goes 1-1. Each wrestler got an escape, went to overtime, nobody scored, double overtime. Connor holds him down in the first 30 seconds.
Oh, he said Jesse Garcia from OMAC.
Oh, well, either way, just to give some backstory there on the Jesse Maines Connor Annie one. Connor gets a reversal to end the match, but Jesse got an escape, and it was kind of weird because the refs didn't really figure out the score right, but it ended up being 3-2. So it was kind of anticlimactic the way that he won, because nobody really knew who won, or if it was going into triple overtime or what have you. But the
girls are in the chat now. The girls are in the chat. They're
ladies' night.
Yeah, Libby wins a 4th title. That's incredible. Yep, Libby's been really phenomenal. You know what? We do need a ladies' night. We need to probably get the girls on here, maybe a Friday night. We could talk.
It's not even a question. I mean, we've been talking about this with our group, is getting east of the mountains and doing more lady stuff. High level duel. Like if you're a coach out there and you're like, hey, like I got a full squad of girls who's going to wrestle a full squad of other girls that it's going to be a high level dual meet. We love dual meets. Dual meets are our favorite. In addition to that, we'd love to get down to braided and do finals there next year as well down in Kelso. But yeah, in
addition to that, can we also get more of these boys and girls duels together so that if we do go, maybe we can figure this out, like an Ording Toppenish girls and boys duel, because that would be the real way to do something like this. We're going to do our best to do everything we can. Jesse, Neff, I'm going to get to this. If you guys hang tight, I want to breeze through because we don't have time now, but I wanted to breeze through the 3A tournament altogether. Guys, I'm sorry. I can't talk about everything. We can't talk about everything here. I had a little bit of a show sheet going on. We need to get London Houston as our representative for the girls. Is what we need to do. She's there. She cares. She knows the people. Also, Jess Torres invited us to Matt Demon as the girls are training for the national tournament, the girls nationals, right? I think, or what is it? I forget what tournament's coming in 2 months, but they said that they have like
women's nationals.
Women's nationals, yeah. And they have a ton of girls in there that are training, and they're, talked to him, and he was like, you know what? We can give all the pub to the boys that we want, which is great. We have a great boys team. It's great, but we have an awesome girls team, and we would love you guys to come cover it. I'm like, yes, getting to Matt Demon to practice, interviewing these. We want to do that. Trust me, we want to do that. We're trying to get to that. Yes, I tried to get to Stephanie a lot. Okay. So Sam keeps telling me no. Kelso girls bring an Army to the 3A title. Peninsula wins 3 in a row. Yes. There you go. We want to do more. We want to do more. And Malia got it, Sam. Congratulations. Your niece got it. That was awesome. First time state champ. Hopefully a 3-timer on the way. Okay. Quickly, I want to breeze through the 3A bracket real quick. I have some stuff, like I said, I do the 3A rankings, some stuff that just really shot out to me. And I want to go down weight class to weight class, guys. This is going to be how we finish it. So if you don't care about the 3A, guys, great. If you do, kind of hang tight a little bit.
Let me preface this really quick. Matt works really, really hard on the 3A stuff. And if you guys look at the team scores based on our team rankings, guy nailed it, and you crushed it, dude. Nice job with the 3A rankings.
I
But
was
go ahead.
close. You know, where I messed up, or what got messed up, was the Mount Spokane. You know, because I had Brendan Hughes number 1 all the way until we really figured out he wasn't going to be wrestling. So like
Right.
that kind of
Sure.
persuaded some things.
Yeah.
And then also I want to talk about, I just want to say this, like Kennewick, they surprised some people. I don't think they surprised people. I think people knew, but they had 2s coming in placing top 8.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, and I
Yep.
wouldn't say completely out of nowhere, but again, it's tough because you look at some of these, you know, again, district champs, and this is what I did that was wrong. And I'll be willing to say that I was wrong. Here's more Kelso girls comments.
Coach
Couldn't do it
Friend,
without
Coach, yeah, you can't ask for a better coaching staff than that. You got a 4-time state
Food.
champ and,
Yep.
and Bobby Friend. Yeah, it's insane.
No, it is insane. We'd love to get him on.
Yeah, we want to get him on.
But Kennewick had an incredible tournament, and in the future it's going to be great. Laz McEwen's dominance at 106. Karimi and Taft are incredibly good, and Laz did his thing, man. And our ranks were perfect, 1, 2, 3. And it ended up kind of being that way. Karimi's a junior, Taft's a sophomore. They're going to continue to be at the top of the ranks. I want to talk about Cedro Woolley's 106. And their JV kid, Kyson Olsen, he was 1 match away from placing. The Panfilo places top 4. 2 kids on the same team. 1 wrestled 113 all year. 1 wrestled 106. So you're 2 at 106. You're 1's away from placing. Both of them is great. They're in my District 1, so I just want to shout them out. Hermiston, they had 2 kids placing top 8. Mason Miracle, sophomore. Braden Harrison, freshman. Votman from Kennewick, freshman, 106. Moving forward, it's going to be tough. 113 pounds. Let's talk about Adrian Windsor for a second. Has a kid made a freaking path to top 5 pound for pound any quicker than Adrian freaking Windsor, bro?
Yeah.
Bro, I mean,
I've been talking about him for a long time.
I know we've been talking about it why, but I've watched him wrestle a lot. He turned it on at the state tournament.
Yeah.
No and fear. he got the Make-A-Wish pin, bro. 1-1-1. Make-A-Wish. And he went out there and he freaking did it. Unreal. Noriega from Kennewick, 41-0. Okay. Pins him in 1:11 seconds. Like, and I mean, and you said this to me about Windsor. Shout out Westbrook. He's a movie star, my guy. Adrian Windsor's a freaking movie star. Okay. You said this is he's one of the wrestlers from Washington State that we could absolutely see as a D1 wrestler at 125 pounds. Like
high prospect for sure.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Caleb Clemens from Todd Beamer. Somebody reached out to us and said, your guys' rankings are crazy. You have him ranked 9th or 11th or something like that. And he placed 7th in state last year. I can't see him placing any lower than 7th, right? But then he lost to a couple kids, and I'm just like, I don't see it, you know? But here's what happened. I got to give it to him because I took 3rd place in state. I know how tough it is. That weight class was tough. Some things just fell his way. Okay. Yeah. Caden Haggerty got beat by Luano from Hermiston. So he did not get it. Boom. Beats Luano. Beats, just beats. Tough matches all the way to 3rd place. Congrats. Now his name's on the chopping block, and so now kids want to go after him. Todd Beamer, what's up? I know Trevor's geeking out.
Yeah. Titan.
Kennewick again. Priest, the number 2 in the weight class, 113, takes 5th. He's a junior. He's ready to be the top dog next year. Let's see here. 120. We saw Soto, right? Soto came out of nowhere, not necessarily out of nowhere. I think that some of these, I would have loved to see a Luke Garza Soto. That's what I would have loved to see. Unfortunately, we did not get a chance to see the match because of where they were seated. I'd love to kind of see that moving forward in the future. Soto and Flores and Garza and Ruben Ruiz. I mean, that Hollander Lynch, the whole class is back. Okay. So it's going to continue to be, we already mentioned Bryson Dolly after the podcast. Can you guys rewind? We did talk about Bryson Dolly. We're not going to be able to go over it again. Shout out to Coach Lucas at Todd Beamer. 126. Sam, what did you think about the 126 final between Quintaniza and Willie Ross?
Didn't get a chance to watch it, but if I was a betting man, I probably would have picked Caesar, just based on his track record and his history. Obviously, two different styles, right? I was telling my brother about this. He's like, "What do you think about this match before it happened?" I go, "I don't really know, but Willie's a home run guy. Willie likes to hit big stuff, and it pays off for him a lot because he's really, really good at hitting that stuff. But Caesar is kind of a little more reserved wrestler, just tries to get the job done, and he did get the job done. But that was in the top 5 of anticipated finals matches that everybody was talking about.
I would tell you it's number 1. I tell you it's number 1.
Yeah, most people were asking about it. Yep.
Most people were talking about it. It was a huge letdown, in my personal opinion. The match went 7-1. It really wasn't close. I love Willie Ross.
Same.
I am a huge fan of Willie Ross. You could tell after the match that he was upset. He did not get a chance to do anything. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think that that's Willie Ross. Yeah, I just think Caesar, and to be honest, Caesar could have done a little more. And I just think that, when you are Caesar, you just don't, So, yeah, I talked about Medelez. I don't know if it's Medelez, but yes, again, sorry, I didn't talk about this. Hermiston kids all the way up the freaking bracket. I can't even talk about every single one of them because we don't have time. I'm going through here quickly. Aiden Larson, Tavar Lee. I did not think it was going to be 1-0, to be honest. I thought maybe Tavar was going to be able, but Aiden's such a brick house that it's tough to score much points on him like that. Trey, what up? We talked about Trey a little bit earlier. Trey had a phenomenal state tournament, phenomenal year. Trey's our guy. Number 1 podcast that we have, or first podcast ever, was with Trey. Go back and watch it. Trey's a big fan, or we're a big fan of Trey. Trey, we talked about how your finals match was a little close. I think, and this is not a knock on Trey, I just think some people, not Trey, Caesar did the same thing. I think you guys are too cautious in the finals. I understand you don't want to lose, but it's like, man, if you guys go out there and wrestle how you wrestle all year with that, like, bro, where was the flashy stuff for Trey? I just feel like you would have been able to put up some points. Same thing with Caesar. Ono just beat Lee.
I just saw it in the background.
Breaking news from Trey Haynes. Yeah, my guy Ono's savage. We love it.
3-2.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tavar, unreal. We got to get some of those Lincoln guys on the podcast. Jason Rodriguez Hermiston came in basically unknown. It wasn't unknown to us, but essentially unknown. We were trying to track when he was coming in. Ends up getting on top of Bubba Cater. Couldn't 3-2 match or 3-2. So, yep. Got on top of Bubba Cater, turned him, was unable to do anything else. Bubba was injured a little bit. That doesn't take anything away from the match. These freaking Hermiston kids, dude, I'll tell you what, they're unreal. And he's definitely one of them. Patrick Halpin had a great tournament at 44 from Capital. He had took some losses in the season, so we knew how tough he was, but he ended up having some really good wins. Had a great tournament getting to second, but Jason Bonnet, dude, unreal. Had to defeat Gordon Gibson first, right? 16-8 Gordon Gibson pins Halpin in the finals. Had a great tournament. Okay, 150. And I'm sorry if this is boring you. I want to get through this because I love this stuff. I do the ranks, like I said. Caleb Dale actually had an intriguing match from White River before. Miles Price went 5-4. I thought maybe he didn't get the points there. It was not. It was awarded. That one was kind of tough, but he ends up coming up, pinning Ellison. Ellison came through. Our ranks were pretty close on this one, so I'll give us a pat on the back there. 57, Guzman and Warnick. Warnick has from Mercer Island. The Mercer team's great. I'll tell you what, they're going to be in the hunt they got a lot of kids, a lot of young kids coming up that are looking really good, and kids that I know a lot of you guys don't have a clue about. Chase Warnick is a senior, so he'll be gone. He had a great match, 9-8 against Guzman.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that close.
Yep, that
Wow.
close. I mean, he's good on. He's got a Merkel on top. I studied him. I will say the outstanding wrestler, okay, of the entire 3A tournament outside of Laz and Adrian Windsor, was Jesse Neff, dude.
Yes, 100%.
Jesse Neff
Jesse Neff's
dominated the tournament
whole
against incredible wrestlers. Incredible wrestlers.
I don't think he'd even on podium before either, if I'm not mistaken. He might have gotten a 5th or 6th or something like that, but I have to look that up. Maybe Trev can look
Tell
it
you
up
where you could find the information
on our website.
on our website. Let me go look. Jesse Neff,
watching
two-time participant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then just crushes the tournament and wins the state
Oh,
title.
Willie's here. Willie's here. I want a rematch against Caesar when I'm not hurt. I've been hurt since Hammerhead. Tore my NCL. There you go. See, that's our fault. We didn't know that. We should have reported that. Absolutely. Willie, I'd love to see a rematch. I don't know if I told Sam this, but I told our coach, Willie Ross, if I had a son, I'd want him to wrestle like you. I think you're
dude.
fantastic.
He just is a let it fly wrestler.
Absolutely. And he's got all the confidence in the world. Jesse Neff, though, Kent Meridian, to me, was the wrestler of the tournament at 3A.
Yeah.
Braden Bergener from
Shadle
Park. Incredible tournament. Pin Ever Yamada 8-4 against Lisherness. Lisherness won 8-7 against Hunter Left from Shelton to get in there. That was an intriguing, fun match. 190. Salivary and Odin Schwarbenbauer. Salivary got him pretty good. 13-5 getting into the finals. 8-4 against Baden Beard from Central Valley, one of them Beard brothers. And then Fleck ended up getting Schwarbenbauer for 3-4s, which I thought was a great match there. But getting to 215, we had the ranks pretty close. I feel like Nehemiah Washington was not looked at as somebody. Neff only wrestled 3 years, never placed before this year. He had a great freaking tournament, dude. 215, I feel like Nehemiah Washington from Decatur wasn't on anybody's radar. Bryson Dolly, the info I had on Bryson Dolly was earlier in the podcast. Please rewind it. We're short on time. I'm trying to get Sam out of here. Wanted to talk about some of the kids at 215 and heavyweight. Riley Simmons, we knew he was going to be there. We really thought he was one of the better wrestlers, almost untouched. He walked right to the finals and beat my guy, Nehemiah. I love Nehemiah. I think he's a great wrestler. Ended up losing to Riley Simmons. Riley Simmons, White River, and the whole entire White River team, unreal. They continue to show that they're coached really well. And then finally, this is where I wanted to kind of end it. Freaking Bradley Amsden.
Dude, he was on a mission, huh?
He's been talking to us all year long. I deserve to be one. Hey, had some really tight matches. 7-2 against Sulpizio, 3-2 against Malachi Ebi, which Malachi Ebi will be our number 1 ranked kid next year. Most of these kids are seniors. The entire heavyweight class in 3A, most of them seniors. Malachi Ebi's the only junior or one of the only underclassmen. He'll be probably top ranked. 3-2 against Amsden. And then in the finals, 3-1 against our boy Big Nate Fredericks from Silas. And Nate had an incredible year.
Yeah.
Incredibly humble guy. When I interviewed him, he goes, I just hope somewhere in the top 3. Ends up beating all these guys, guy after guy.
Really good wins.
And ends up losing in the finals. That will be it for us today, folks. We really apologize if we did not get to you. We still have so much more time to do it. I apologize that we can't get to everybody. We're trying to do this for the whole state.
We could take a minute or two to recap this, man. We don't have to leave it like right.
No, I'm good. That's it for me. I mean, you got to go. We got to go. We're at 1 hour and 23 minutes. I just want to say I appreciate everybody for following us. Please, guys, the thing that can help us the most is by liking and resharing our stuff. We need to just continue our reach. We've grown our podcast, our channel so much. And especially just even recently, it's grown. It's like, well, what's changing? Well, I think you guys, it's getting to more people finally. Our rankings are there. We will shut the rankings down at some point here pretty soon, or at least archive it. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to start our summer stuff back up, which you guys know about sometime in June, going back to the top 5 preseason ranks. Sam, what else do we got?
Man, we're not going to stop. I got a message on Facebook about this today. It's like, well, what's next for you guys? Like, it's
thanks, Willie.
There's wrestling going on year round, and if we have the time for it, we're going to cover it. And so Northwest Regionals, all these freestyle Greco events, U.S. Open, Women's Nationals, all that stuff. We're going to try to get to as much of it as we can. If not, we're going to try and have a podcast, maybe cover it, maybe get in touch with a wrestler or a coach as you guys are traveling this spring and this summer. And we really encourage all the wrestlers and coaches to stay locked in, stay involved. We want to elevate Washington wrestling as much as we can. Let's take this thing to the moon, guys. Like, we got too many good wrestlers in this state. And let's start locking in these dual national duels slots so we can get some good squads out there heading east this summer. And just excited for this state, man. This is what's all about. Year one of doing this, I think it's already made a big difference, and we're going to continue to try and do that here in the future. So,
and then also my last thing I wanted to say in 3A, how unique is the name Carmelo? Like, I haven't seen a lot of kids named Carmelo. In one weight class in 3A, the 7th and 8th place guy was named Carmelo. I just thought, what the heck is going on with this stuff? But Milente, or I don't know if it's Milente.
It's Milente. My lens.
Okay, yeah. Milente. Bravo to you. I really appreciate you for all you've done. I've met you this year. I met you at the Edmonds Invite Finals. You're now coming and really help us and are part of what we do. You do a fantastic job. You don't see a lot of people taking pictures and then also helping to promote. And it's like, man, you're going the extra step, and some people don't ever know about it. We are going to do our best to make sure everybody knows.
And congrats to her on her accolade that she got from the state for.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I believe it was photographer of the year, or maybe it was media member of the year. I'm not sure, but congrats to her. She deserves it. She's everywhere. She's doing everything. I know that she's planning on going to the Women's Nationals as well. So you can reach out to her if you want to get some pictures of yourself.
I put up a comment. It didn't talk about the comment. Only those who get to the end of this thing can know we got a lot of things in store, and we're really going to try to do the best we can for the state while we're here able to do this thing. So we just appreciate everybody. Thank you again for tuning into the Washington Wrestling Network. Please, guys, we have our email out there. If you feel like you're unranked or deserve to be ranked, keep the emails coming. Right now, we have the top 16 in every weight class. Nobody's doing what we're doing. That is an absolute truth. Other than that, we just appreciate everybody's feedback, everything. Keep it coming. We think you guys deserve it. So for Sam, I am Matt, Trevor, and Josh also. Oh, not to talk about Josh. Josh developed our website, had a girl in the finals. We think she pinned that girl. He's still salty about it.
Tune into the Real Ref Report. Maybe they'll take a look at that.
Yeah. And Trevor, thank you so much for helping cover everything and just being an awesome right-hand man. We are the Washington Wrestling Network, and we will see you guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.